Do you know some of the things that can impact your VA's monthly compensation and where you can find this information? In today's video, I'm going to share some items that's listed in the notification letter that you receive when you are service connected or denied that can impact your monthly VA compensation. So stick around. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Dwayne Kimball, owner and founder of KMD89, VA Claims Consulting, United States Army veteran, and retired VA rating specialist. In today's video, I'm going to share with you some things that have been identified by the Department of Veterans Affairs in the notification letter that they send you, okay? So at the end of this video, I'm going to link the other video that I did showing you the difference between the notification letter and rating decision. So when you view this video and you go back to that notification letter, you'll know which one to look at between the notification letter and the rating decision, okay? So a lot of veterans miss this in the notification letter, but I think this is something that all veterans should be aware of. So I have one slide that I'm going to share with you today, so let's go ahead and jump into it. Slide number one. Here in slide number one, you can see at the top it says, please take action. What things affect your right to payment, okay? And this is two different screenshots that I took, okay? But I wanted you to be aware that this is in the notification letter, not the rating decision, but in the notification letter. And it states, please notify VA immediately if there is a change in your condition affecting your right to continue payments. If you don't notify us notify us of these changes immediately, you may have to return any overpayment these changes include, okay? So they're letting you know, make sure you notify them as soon as possible because they're telling you if you don't, it could be an overpayment, okay? So the first one, evidence received shows a change is warranted. Military pay or workman's compensation. Your payments may be affected by the following which you must bring to our attention. So you have to let the VA know. They're telling you, you have to let us know, meaning the VA. If you don't, and they find out later, okay, it can cause an overpayment. And when that happens, they're going to withhold your monthly compensation until they recoup those benefits in certain situations, okay? So it says re-interest into active military or naval service, okay? So you can't double dip. You can't be on active duty, all right? Whether you're Reserve, National Guard, or you go back on active duty and receive VA monthly compensation. You have to let them know that. Now, the VA is always kind of slow when that happens, okay? So just be mindful that it could create an overpayment, all right? Receipt of Armed Forces Service retirement pay unless your retirement pay has already been reduced because of award of disability compensation. Now, I did a previous video on the service-connected matrix, and on there it talks about 50%. Once you reach that 50%, that's like the golden level, okay? You receive both, all right? Receipt of benefits from Office of Federal Employees Compensation. Receipt of active duty or drill pay as a reservist or member of the National Guard. Okay, now, I want to pause here and talk about this. So if you reserve a National Guard, okay, you go 2 days, I think it's, 2 days a month in 2 weeks a year, okay? So you have to let them know that, and they're going to take a certain amount. But keep in mind, when you are called back up for active duty, your first call should be to the VA, 800-827-1000, letting them know you're going back on active duty from this date to this date, okay, if you know those dates. Also, might not be a bad idea to submit a VA form 21 dash, 21-4138 and put on there, please withhold withhold my compensation, VA compensation from this date to this date. Now, when you send that letter in, try to send it in and make that phone call when you know as soon as possible, because more than likely it's going to create a debt, okay, which means you may receive a month or two of compensation while you're on active duty and receiving that pay. So just be mindful that when you come back off active duty and you got to call them back and say, hey, start my VA compensation back, they are going to go back and look, oh, wait a minute, we paid you 2 months while you were on active duty. We're going to withhold 2 months, okay? So you may get month, 2 months, or however long that they paid you on the front end, they're going to withhold it on the back end. Now, if everything aligns up just right and they don't, or they do stop the VA compensation monthly payment the same month, the same time, there could not be any overpayment, okay? But you have to be mindful of that, all right? Then it says dependents. If you have a disability rating of 30% or more, you must advise VA of any change with your spouse or children. Now, when the child is on your ward before age 18, in the notification letter, they'll tell you, hey, this child is going to drop off at age 18, unless you let them know if they're continuing their education. Okay, so you have to let them know that, and there's a form that you have to fill out and send in for continuing education. Spouse, if you get divorced, you want to let the VA know, hey, I got divorced. It was finalized on this date. Okay, now, also keep in mind, if they continue to pay you for that spouse after you let them know it's been divorced, they may not take action on it right there and then. It could be a few months down the road. So just keep in mind, once they do take action and they see that divorce decree was finalized on this date, and let's just say it was 6 months ago, they're going to go back and withhold that 6 months. Also, if you get divorced and remarry, let them know so there's no confusion, nothing later on down the road, okay? Like they said, notify them, because if they find out later, it could be a problem or a huge debt, okay? Hospitalization. If your award includes aid and attendance benefits, you may reduce this additional allowance if you are admitted to a hospital, nursing home, or domiciliary care of VA expenses. Aid and attendance, SMCL, special monthly compensation at the L rate, aid and attendance. This is what they're talking about, okay? So when you get granted SMCL, read the fine print in the rating decision. Again, I'm going to link the notification letter versus rating decision video that I did on my channel so you could see the difference between the notification letter and rating decision. They send them to you at the same time, but there's two separate letters, okay? Incarceration. Benefits will be reduced if you are incarcerated in a federal, state, or local. Now, reduced down to 10%. So if you're 100%, you get incarcerated, you're not going to get that 100% paid, but you'll still get 10%, okay? But always go out there and check the VA's M21 manual reference and the 38 CFR just in case any of these change down the road, okay? But this is a most recent, I would say in the last 2-3 weeks this is the most recent notification letter in the last couple of weeks, within the last 30 days, okay? So the second screenshot, evidence received shows a change is warranted. Again, local penal institution for more than 60 days for conviction of a felony. Again, go out to the M21 manual reference and the 38 CFR. They have more information, okay? Lack of cooperation. We may stop monthly payments if you fail to submit evidence we requested, fail to attend a VA examination when requested. Now, this one I got a moment of pause, because if you go in and, say for instance, you have a routine future exam and you decide to get a DBQ completed and submitted. That should suffice, as long as it's actionable and sufficient. Now, I did a previous video where I talked about some VA employees, for whatever reason, are not using the veteran's actionable and sufficient DBQ when they submit them, okay? So you definitely want to go to my channel and check that video out as well. Submit false or fraudulent evidence to VA or cause false or fraudulent evidence to be submitted to VA. Okay, vets, listen to me. If you're getting a DBQ done, I'll just use this for an example. You're getting a DBQ and nexus done, make sure you're educated on what makes a DBQ sufficient and actionable and what requirements that need to be met when you have a private physician to complete these DBQs and nexus statements. I have videos on my YouTube channel. We give private training. KMD 89 VA Claims Consulting gives private training on DBQs and nexus statements, what needs to be done by the private examiner when they're completing these, okay? So you want to make sure you're doing it the right way. Then last it says fraud, lying to the government. The law provides severe penalties, which include fines, imprisonment, or both, for the fraudulent acceptance of any payment to which you are not entitled. We may verify information you submit through computer matching programs with other agencies. Okay, so that was a lot of information. You can go to the VA's website, look under the 38 CFR, the M21, and find out tons more information. But one of those that I really want to point out is fraud. Make sure you're doing it the right way. This is one of the reasons why I started my business after I left the VA as a rating specialist. I wanted to make sure veterans were educated on the process so they could do it the right way, okay? So there's two other things that can impact your payment that you're not gonna see in the notification letter that I feel that's important, okay? And one of those is filing a claim for increase and not knowing the criteria for the next higher percentage. Where can you find this information? In the rating decision. It'll tell you why they granted you that particular percentage and why you didn't warrant the next higher. So when you go back and you look at that, you can say, oh, I meet this criteria, I'm gonna file an increase. Or I don't meet this criteria, I'm not going to file an increase, okay? A lot of veterans file an increase not knowing that it's they don't meet that criteria. That percentage has been in effect less than 5 years. Then they get a proposal to reduce, and that can affect your overall percentage, which will in turn affect your overall pay, okay? The second one is reporting to a CMP exam for something you didn't claim. As a rating specialist, I've seen this several times. VSR, RVSR, make a mistake, request the wrong exam, and the veteran goes and it shows improvement, and that percentage has been in effect less than 5 years. Now they have evidence to reduce you. Even though you didn't file a claim for increase or anything concerning to that particular service-connected condition, the VA requests the incorrect exam. So again, that's another reason why you want to not only be educated on what you're doing with your claim, but also how the VA claims can impact it. So with that being said, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and don't forget to share this video with your fellow veterans. Thank you.